In the enigmatic realm of video game design, Brendan unravels the secrets behind scientists placing rats in mazes, deciphering the intricate dance of memory as organisms construct an internal map of their world. Imbibing these studies, Brendan, a master of his craft, infuses these principles into his games, proclaiming that without memory, humanity languishes in stagnation. A day unfolds as Brendan, accompanied by his wife Claire and daughter Sam, ventures to the beach. Amidst the sun-soaked moments, Sam, armed with her Curious George companion, sets out for shells, pledging to stay clear of the water. Yet, distracted by the allure of shells, the waves stealthily snatch her toy. Oblivious, she wades in, only to succumb to the relentless sea. The family rallies around, but grief clings to Brendan and Claire like a haunting specter. Months later, as Claire decides it's time to relocate, the echoes of their tragedy reverberate. Brendan, still ensnared in sorrow, resists the upheaval, pleading with Claire to maintain the sanctity of Sam's room. Amidst the upheaval, Brendan stumbles upon a peculiar anomaly. The title of Sam's favorite books, The Berenstain Bears, spelled with an A contrary to his memory of an E. Night descends, casting shadows on Brendan's restless mind. Startled by a sound, armed with a bat, he confronts the kitchen intruder, only to discover his brother-in-law Matt foraging for a midnight snack. Over shared sustenance, Brendan broaches the book title, finding solace in Matt's shared recollection. Driven by insomnia, Brendan delves into the labyrinth of the internet, stumbling upon the enigmatic Mandela effect, a collective delusion of false memories attributed to alternate timelines or parallel universes. The next morning, as Claire readies herself for a return to work, a family photo on the refrigerator becomes a battleground of memories. The Griffith Observatory, according to Claire, hosted the moment frozen in the frame. Yet, Brendan vividly recalls capturing the same image at the Pacific Science Center. Claire dismisses his assertion, attributing it to confusion, and resumes her routine. Undeterred, Brendan enlightens Matt on the Mandela effect, weaving a tapestry of examples: Mandela's supposed prison demise, Darth Vader's iconic quote, and the mystifying spelling of Looney Tunes. Brendan is on a mission to hop between different realities or join a grand simulation, but Matt responds with the classic eye-roll move. In the days that come after, Brendan dives into peculiar subjects like string theory and the idea of a real-life matrix by binge-watching tons of documentaries. He's scribbling down notes like they're the secret recipe for avoiding his mega-sad feelings. One day, Brendan decides to spill his guts to a priest about why God would swipe Sam's life. The priest spills the beans. It's not some divine master plan. It's just the whole free will gig, God's supposed A-game gift to humanity. Back home, Brendan transforms into a free will detective as part of his obsession. Later, he pesters Matt again with his wild ideas, but Matt's got a brainiac friend, a neurologist, no less. She spills the beans that our brains are like leaky buckets, memories are all over the place, and gaps get filled with random stuff. But Brendan's stubbornness is as unyielding as a rubber chicken stare. Coincidence? Nope, not in Brendan's world. At dinner, Claire's fretting because Brendan's turned into a solo act. Brendan, in full detective mode, quizzes her on the Monopoly man. Claire swears he wore a monocle. But, oops, turns out the dude's face is as bare as a hipster's minimalistic apartment. Then Brendan whips out Sam's Curious George book, claiming the monkey used to rock a tail in the drawings. He even insists Sam's plushie had one too. Claire's not thrilled about him using their daughter's demise for his bit, but Brendan's on a comedy roll, reminding Claire she once said it felt unreal after the funeral. When Brendan starts babbling about realities doing the cha-cha, Claire loses it. She scolds him for not moving on and turning his grief into this silly obsession. The dinner table drama reaches its peak, and it's more entertaining than a cat trying to play Jenga. Later on, Brendan and Claire double date with Matt and his new boyfriend. Brendan's mind wanders, and he's not really into the conversation. He sneaks off to the bar, but Matt reminds him to support Claire. Brendan agrees and goes back to the table. Once home, he's back on the computer researching the simulation theory, claiming we might live in a computer-programmed reality. Brendan collects notes and creates a board, desperately searching for proof of a parallel universe where Sam is alive. He watches videos of famous folks like Elon Musk and Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about it. He stumbles upon a Roland Fuchs, trying to prove the simulation. The video he finds is broken, so he resorts to pirate sites to get a backup. The downloaded file is messed up, but with special software, he fixes it. The video shows Dr. Fuchs lecturing about the simulation theory, but it gets corrupted again, leaving Brendan with nothing. Not giving up, Brendan hunts down where Fuchs works and records a video message for him. Days pass, but Fuchs doesn't respond. Brendan travels to the university to meet him, but Fuchs is too busy for a fan's ramblings. Later that night, Brendan tries to be a better husband and gets intimate with Claire. But he pauses, thinking he hears Sam calling. Frustrated, Claire suggests he see a grief counselor. The following day, instead of keeping his promise to see a counselor, Brendan turns up at Fuchs' house, convincing him to spare a few minutes. Fuchs explains the Mandela effect as fake memories, suggesting they're breadcrumbs from our glitching simulation after a system update. Brendan, envisioning reality as computer code, proposes hacking it, but Fuchs dismisses it as ridiculous and takes him to the university. On the way, they ponder the idea that the world exists only when observed by a conscious being. Brendan likens it to video games loading areas when players enter, suggesting the rest doesn't exist. To overwhelm the simulation, Brendan needs to overload it, requiring a powerful machine like the university's quantum computer, Fuchs reveals. In the lab, Dr. Manning interrupts their discussion about entering a code. Displeased with Brendan, they return to Fuchs' house, where Fuchs sees Brendan as a bug in the system, cautioning that ideas can be dangerous. Worried about the simulation's intent, whether recreational or power-driven, Brendan draws parallels with political and corporate power. That night, Brendan dreams of Sam's death, waking to her calling. Rushing to her room, he sees a glitching human shadow that disappears. Trying to clear his mind with a drive, he perceives the world as code linked to a quantum computer. Falling asleep in the car, he wakes in an alley, experiences reality glitching, screams in pain, and abruptly wakes in his usual bed. Leaving the room, he's astonished to see Sam in her own room. However, following Claire and Sam, he only finds his wife brushing her teeth. Brendan questions his sanity, and Claire tries to comfort him. Later, Brendan delves into quantum computing books at the library, working on a code to overload the simulation concerning Claire. For the next few days, Brendan immerses himself in coding, worrying Claire. One night, Sam seeks comfort in her parents' room after a nightmare. Brendan snoozes soundly next to his daughter, but in the morning, he's surprised to find an empty bed. Thinking it was all a dream, Brendan heads downstairs, and this time Sam is there like nothing happened. Claire and Matt act like everything's normal, so Brendan calls everyone he knows to confirm his suspicions. No one remembers Sam's supposed demise, and he's convinced reality has been rewritten. His attempts to chat with Fuchs fail. The guy won't pick up the phone. Brendan believes the simulation brought Sam back to stop him from creating the code, but he's just thrilled to have his daughter back. The family is happily spending time together until one night when Claire has a terrible nightmare. She insists she's fine, but the next day, Brendan finds burnt breakfast and Claire spaced out. Determined to lift Claire's spirits, Brendan takes the family to paint pottery. Suddenly, cracks appear on his pot, and Claire goes ballistic, smashing things because they aren't using the right color. Brendan decides to head home and tries to get Claire to rest, but she keeps freaking out, claiming Sam shouldn't be there. Worried about his wife's well-being due to the reality shift, Brendan asks Matt to watch Sam and rushes to Fuchs' house, only to be met by the doctor's wife. It turns out Fuchs self-deleted because the science community didn't take him seriously. Brendan, insisting he saw Fuchs just 2 days ago, sees a crack on the glass as a sign from the simulation. Determined to fix things, Brendan rushes home and resumes working on the code. He also records a video for his family, just in case this simulation does him in, like he believes it did to Fuchs. While Brendan codes, Matt takes care of Claire, who's become catatonic. When the code is ready, Brendan heads to the university, attempting to access the quantum computer, only to be thwarted by Manning, who tries to call security. Brendan tries to be a hero, but oops, he pushes too hard, and Manning kicks the bucket. Feeling like a big, guilty mess, Brendan grabs Manning's card key and keeps on trucking. He reaches the computer, sticks his code in with a USB, and watches numbers flash while the machine acts all wonky. Suddenly, he rushes out, only to find an empty parking lot and his car missing. Bam! He blinks, and now he's on a bus, getting a call from his wife who's not feeling great. Weird stuff's happening, like passengers glitching through the bus floor and faces doing the glitchy dance. Brendan hops off the bus and sprints through the city, spotting glitches galore. Time can't make up its mind, trees turn into a rainbow, and there are 2 moons in the sky. Finally, he gets back home, where glitches surround him while he hugs his wife and daughter like there's no tomorrow. Claire's face glitches, she yells in pain, 2 moons collide, and boom, everything goes dark. Suddenly, code pops up on the screen, and the universe hits the restart button, from dinosaurs to wars and all those human history gigs. When the reboot finally chills, Brendan's pumped to be on the beach with his fam. This time, when Sam says she's off to find shells, Brendan's on his A game, making her ditch Curious George and saving the day.